And we are live.
Hello, everybody.
Ooh.
Hello. Welcome to episode 4. It says part 4 in the thing. Should we say part or should we say episode?
I think I've used a different thing every time.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Episodes, part 4.
Welcome to show 4 of the NN Social with me, Josh Astrop, and...
me, Nicholas Gray. And...
Come on.
Me, Andrew Convey.
Well, I'm happy to see you again this week, chaps. And it's flown by again.
Yeah,
it has indeed. Yeah,
despite probably doing less personally, it's still going pretty quickly. How have your weeks been?
Mine has been all right. It's flown by. I felt like a hippopotamus stuck in water, I suppose. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of weird nature documentaries that just that stuck in my head. But Jesus, man, no. I don't know. It's definitely flown by. It feels a bit less weird without the bank holiday weekend like we did this time. But even still, I've just kind of kept busy. Again, this is my new marker for the week. So Tuesday night, I go, I've got to do that tomorrow, and start thinking about tonight, basically. But pretty much the same for me. Did some more baking.
Okay. What did you bake?
I'll be honest, I did cookies again. I know, boring, yawn. But I dropped them off at my sister's house for my niece and nephew today. I social distance before anyone is worried, so I left them on the doorstep. I returned back to my car. I knocked on the door, ran away as quick as I could, and then my niece and nephew came to the door, and I spoke to them for 5 minutes from my car. It was nice. But I made cookies again for them. I do have 2 remaining, so I will show them on the stream later on for the audience to critique me.
Are they softy boys?
I don't know. I think they're a little bit harder because I left them in a little bit longer. I think they're still softy, not as softy as the first batch. They were real soft boys, like me.
They were.
A big softy.
A few comments already about the fact that we're in a different order on the screen, which is freaking people out.
I know, it's throwing me because normally Josh is here, but Josh is over there for me, and Nick's over there, so I don't.
Yeah, well, that actually works this time.
Yeah, it kind of.
Should we leave it as it is, or should we pander to the masses of people that are freaked out by it?
People are getting triggered. I'm actually seeing the word trigger.
Triggered. Let's leave it as it is. Although we do need to think about this, because when our careers blow up, which they will,
obviously,
like Ant and Dec, they are always in a certain order, aren't they?
I can't say that.
They are always and Dec.
And Dec. So,
they actually stole that from Sam and Mark.
I don't know who Sam and Mark are.
No, neither do I.
It's trying a really bad joke. So
yeah, it was rubbish. Right. Anyway, so last week our avid viewers may have noticed that we didn't have a theme tune. But this week we do have him back. He did a quiz last week. It started promptly at 8:00 and missed out. He has got another quiz to do, but he's got 5 seconds to spare for us and for you. So please welcome theme tune extraordinaire, Shreddy Krueger, Jake Crawford. Yes,
thank you.
Fucking brilliant. Gets better every week.
Yeah, he's still shredding now. He's still going.
He's been practicing, hasn't he?
Yeah, I can hear
I just
him.
noticed what T-shirt he was wearing as well. He was wearing a Future Love T-shirt.
Oh, was he?
Representing, yeah. I think so.
You don't wear your own merch. That's weird. That's like something Gary Glitter would do.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Ooh, isn't it?
What, he'd wear his own merch? I've seen a picture of him. Like, that's always that's a no for me. You don't wear your own merch.
I did wear an Audio Works T-shirt a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's your business. That's not your band. I mean,
if you want to be in my gang.
All right, let's get away from the Gary Glitter references. Nick, how's your week been?
It's been all right. It's been all right. I haven't listened to any Gary Glitter on Spotify. Pretty much the same as before, I guess, for the same for everyone. I'm still working, so I am thankful for that. I've got something to do with my day. I'm sure lots of people are losing their mind a lot quicker than I am. Struggled this weekend again, though. Really struggled. Friday night, I got so drunk on my own, and I stayed up. I stayed up to listen or watch rather a live stream of the cast of That Thing You Do a live commentary of the film. So you set it up where you had the film on one browser and then they would talk through it, and it was really funny. They had like cast members on there. They had Tom Hanks directed it and wrote it, but they couldn't get him. He's obviously too big. But they got his son, who was
Colin.
Colin Hanks. Yeah, he was there for the production of the film as a young pup, I would imagine. But he was there and remembers loads of stuff about the behind the scenes stuff, and it was really interesting and really fun to watch. Like just watching the cast of That Thing You Do talk about how they learned guitars and drums specifically for the film, and they still play their instruments now. And it was
that's cool,
real heartwarming thing. And obviously, Adam Schlesinger, who was the bass player in Phantoms of Wayne, who died a couple of weeks ago now due to coronavirus. He wrote the soundtrack to it. He wrote the song. So there was a little bit of a tribute about that, and that was really good. Really, really fun. Good to watch.
Banging. Sounds amazing.
Nice. Speaking of drinking and getting drunk, what is everyone drinking?
Yeah, I'm drinking this beer called Toast, which the unique thing about Toast is they use surplus fresh bread for part of their brewing, and their whole message is about, not letting anything go to waste. So it is a American pale ale, which describes itself as tropical and zesty.
Ooh.
Hey, this is it. We're getting there. We've got like a running theme with adjectives to describe the booze.
Yeah,
I would agree. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. What's yours, Nick?
I am on wine again, white wine, because I'm on a budget. This one is a Sauvignon Blanc. It was 2 for £8. So you can imagine how it's not quite as tasty as some other wines may be. But it is a dry white, delicate and fruity citrus wine. I'm not sure why they've put this in, but it says that it's a brilliant straw yellow.
I thought that was only used to describe piss.
Yeah, that was on my that was my immediate thought.
Yeah,
they might as well have just said brilliant piss yellow.
Maybe that's the color of the straw you're supposed to use when you straw pedo it, 'cause it's so cheap.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's got a balanced body.
Like you.
Yeah, thank you. And dry with a supple, lingering flavour, and I can attest to that. It's
Josh,
definitely lingering.
What are you drinking, Josh, or not drinking?
Well, I've got a lovely drop of look at that beer gorilla. It's fucking Coke, right? Because none of these bastards will send us any free booze. So what am I supposed to drink?
Good point. Very good point. Beer gorilla, if you're listening, as always, please send us some free beer.
Somebody give him some alcohol. Just drop it in or something.
I know. Well, annoyingly, I would have done. But let's see people in the chat what we're drinking. We've actually got a lot of people banging on so far about what they're drinking.
On.
banging on. I know that was I used the wrong term there. Stop banging on about what you're drinking. Josh is drinking Coke, for God's sake, people. Emma has got some Prosecco on the go. Live, love, laugh. Aaron has got an Inhaler hoppy pale ale.
Aaron has upped his game from last week. He was drinking Carling, right? If I remember rightly.
I was thinking this the other day. None of us have drunk Carlsberg.
Because it's
How
shit.
weird is that? We should, surely,
Ooh.
because it's...
Well, there goes the sponsorship for that.
Cheers, Josh. That's
Fuck
what you're
Carlsberg.
drinking Coke.
I want Coca-Cola to sponsor us. Now, if we're gonna like sell out and sell our souls, then I want to sell it to the biggest, dirtiest company available. Coca-Cola's up there.
Well, they're
and
in
McDonald's.
Milton McDonald's.
Fuck
Yeah,
it,
they're in
yeah.
Milton Keynes, aren't they, Coca-Cola?
Also, Tim Astrop, my wonderful brother, is drinking Daya Heavy Rolling Man. I think I've had that before. It sounds familiar, but good choice.
Speaking of beer,
They've got some good stuff. Good brewery.
check that out. Speaking of beer, this is not an advert, but I want to let everyone know who's watching. I was telling the boys how good this is. I mentioned them in the first episode, and the stream went down, so hopefully it doesn't happen. It's not like a curse. But I found a Northampton company called Beer Garage, who amazingly I ordered yesterday at 10 o'clock, and they dropped it off at my house yesterday at 5 o'clock. So unreal. So they dropped it off in this lovely little carry case, Beer Garage there, which even has personalised. I think it's more for the guy dropping it off, to be honest. But they knocked on the door. It was contactless, just left it for me, and I got some really good selections that they've got on the website. I got some Cloud Water there. I got a Yeasty Boys, which I'm really excited about. Kona beer, as you know, I love. They do a passion fruit IPA, which I didn't even know they made. So I got one of those. You have to order 6 beers for delivery, but delivery within NN1 and NN5 is free, and it's pretty much same day. So check out Beer Garage. Not an advert. I just wanted to let people know, a little Northampton business out there that impressed me very much. So
Nice.
I don't know if you know this, but I used to have a podcast, right? And Laura from the Beer Garage actually came on and talked about how they got started, why they got started, and all that stuff. And it was fascinating, to be honest. So that's all still available. That's free. I feel like I can promote it. I don't make anything from it. It doesn't do anything for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like
I think I just need to make sure that everyone knows that the promotion is free, not the beer, as you just said.
I bought that beer. Sorry, I should have said that. With my own money, I got paid, and I bought that beer because I wanted some interesting beers other than the shop. So so the Beer Garage. I think some people in the chat are already saying that they have used the service themselves, but just if anyone interested, they do deliver to Milton Keynes as well, if we've got anyone that far afield. But there is a little charge. So yeah, just get on there and have a look, and they're adding new stuff every week.
Magic.
Excellent. Okay, we're about 8:15 already. This time's flying. We should probably get our first guest on, I think.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your favourite radio DJ and all-round top bloke, Lal Muttock.
Whee!
Let's get some claps
and there he
in the
is.
chat.
Oh, yeah, so I ordered a kebab about half an hour. It hasn't arrived. Can you help me? Oh, sorry. I didn't realise what I was. Hi.
Always the funny man.
Great one, mate. Great
classic.
One.
It's probing that.
Classic.
How you doing, Lal?
Right. Good. How are you?
Very, very good. Very, very good. As well as can be expected. Yeah. What are you up to?
I'm just talking to you.
Oh, this is going to go really well.
Okay. Wow. Lal, have you ever been on the radio before, mate?
Yeah, a couple of times. I'm usually in control, so this is really weird.
You're wearing a Saab t-shirt.
I know. Years and years ago, right, people used to always send me band t-shirts many, many years ago. And then they didn't happen, so I started to buy them, but I got this one from Marcus. And we'll come on to a little bit of a Saab story in a minute, but if you're in a band, send me band t-shirts so I don't have to wash my clothes.
Mate,
That is, come on.
Plug in, trying to get free stuff on this podcast, on this show, just does not work.
All right.
No results as
these
yet.
guys some t-shirts. And then...
I mean, I've tried. I've openly said that I'll sell my soul for beer, and nobody. Evidently, my soul is worthless.
He's drinking Coke. So yeah.
You are technically not worth insurance.
This box right here, I don't know if everyone can see it, but this box right here is full of Century City t-shirts. So if anyone wants one, just let me know.
Well, yeah, I quite like one. I'd also like some new music since you haven't sent me in for 2 years. I remember I played you on Radio 1 and I was like, man, this band are going to be massive. Didn't release any music after that.
Oh, we're massive, all right.
Hey! It's the classic hiatus. Yeah, which is not good.
Yeah, we don't need to.
So
hard to hear it.
for the people who don't know, I can't imagine who that would be. But you're obviously the host creator of BBC Introducing Northampton. But at the moment you're not doing it.
No, right. I think 34 BBC Introducing shows have been taken off air due to the coronavirus. I mean, there's still, I think we've got 3. We've got Newcastle, Essex, and Solent who are still on air. But because obviously BBC Introducing is a specialist show. Our show and a few other shows on BBC Radio Northampton have been taken off air to stop people going in and may have contracted it and have passed it on to our daytime staff, which obviously the schedules change anyway. So we've been taken off air, and it's really, really weird because it's such a massive part not only of my life but of obviously bands' lives and helping their careers and stuff like that. And it's been taken away. It's not just us, but it feels like bands are a little bit lost because half the opportunities that we were going to present, obviously coming into festival season, have just gone. Talking to Sarpa Sulpa, they were meant to headline our stage at the Great Escape, which is such a massive deal. It's huge to headline that stage. To play that stage is massive anyway, but for our central team to just say, we want these guys to headline. And Jack Saunders at BBC Radio 1 is a huge fan. And to have those opportunities taken away, you feel so bad. And obviously it's not our fault, but you feel so bad for them because it's one of those things that could technically break a band. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just them. We had a, for fuck's sake, why that? I can swear. Fuck's sake, why though? She was meant to play our big weekend stage, BBC Radio 1's big weekend stage. That opportunity has been taken away. So I think a lot of bands, especially the bands that we have been pushing through BBC Introducing, feel as lost as we are. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we're all musicians, we're all associated with music in this chat, and it's just you just feel lost a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I guess all you guys do as well, because you can't, obviously, Josh, you can't have people coming in, so you have that social interaction, and you guys like playing music and stuff. You've lost that part of your personality a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I was always crap about is writing and recording and finishing tracks, and that's the only thing I can do now.
Guilty as well. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get some new music. This is brilliant.
Working on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that's one of the things that I think, Nick, you came up with the you came up with the idea of doing this show, was that to recreate the pub / sort of music scene or local community online. So yeah, things like this are exactly what people are having to do live, live streams and there's everything from massive festival like lineups being live streamed and like a bloke down the road just playing some acoustic tracks on Facebook. It's
I think it's kind of important. I know it's obviously it's an extremely bad thing, but a lot of musicians have never utilised these sort of technologies, especially DJs. It's always because obviously you can go out and play gigs with people, and it's kind of opened up a new path of people not only to interact with their audience but also to monetize their audience. A lot of people, performers and stuff, have set up groups and donation pages. My friend Joe Strauss, who plays like Delta Blues, an absolutely amazing guitarist, has done like a busking thing where you can, you don't have to pay, but you just drop some money in his hat, sort of thing. And I think it's always, we always come back in these sort of crises. We always come back to technology and go, right, okay, what can we utilize? And there's so many things, platforms like this, and there's that Pub One and House Party and Zoom that I'd never even heard of before, and now everyone is using it. It's just changed the game, and I'm just wondering how technology and the entertainment industry, especially music, how is that going to affect it? Because everyone's just gone, wow, we've got this amazing tool that we've never really properly utilised before, and now we've got this to go along with playing live and stuff, And I think maybe it's give a lot of bands a bit of a kick up the arse to go, well, just because you're not doing a gig, you can still interact with your audience. It opens up another thing. You know what I mean?
I'm waiting to see what Radiohead do out of this, because Radiohead are always that band who are ahead of everyone on the game and stuff. So when they come and do something, then everyone will perk up. But I'd like to think that they're planning on doing
Which is
something.
a weird thing to say, Radiohead. Everyone's going to perk up to Radiohead.
Radio, the very
not
definition of
really
not perking up.
It's radio.
Yeah. I mean in their innovative ways, because they're always the band who do it first, and yeah,
they were the first guys to do the pay what you want for their album.
The honesty box, definitely.
Yeah. I think what you just to elaborate on what you were saying there, Lal, a lot of people are having to get creative, but I think one of the good things, because there are obviously the situation's shit, but there will be positives that come out of it. And one of the things is I think that people are realizing that they might have a bit more control or power over what they're doing and who sees it and how they go about it. It's not the case of relying on promoters to put on gigs so that they can play them. Now people are doing their own gigs. And there's obviously nothing wrong with promoters. We need them to keep the music scene alive for those sort of events that require a certain amount of money to pay the people that work at them. But when you're streaming at home, you don't have those costs. So I think it's interesting to see the dynamic change.
I think it's going to change the music industry. I mean, obviously, we all know there's not really any money in music anymore. I mean, there is money out there if you're just very clever with it. But this is another tool that record labels have no control over. Obviously, they were such a dominant force about 10, 15 years ago. And it's another thing that it's almost take the power back, basically. But it's almost giving more control to bands and to have more control over their music, where you don't have to rely on a record label, or you don't have to rely on this person to get your music out there. All the tools are there, and they're all free. And I think that's a really great thing. And it's a horrible situation, and I think we're all suffering a little bit. But this the innovation and the creativity that's coming out of people is just amazing at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like these kind of times when there is moments of adversity, as horrible as it sounds, it is difficult for everyone. It really is. From people that are on minimum wage to people that are CEOs of large companies, it's a complete sea change. But these kind of situations for creatives, weirdly, give like a mental impetus for creatives to just come up with something. And it's nuts. Like in adversity, or like when you're at your lowest. Personally, for me, I come up with some of the best things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I think when there's a situation like this, and there's as horrible as it is, there is an opportunity there for bands to get their presence across, their music out, without any of the middlemen or any of the red tape. So just like get it straight out there and straight to the people without anybody being able to get in the middle and middle with it.
Middle with it. But I think it's made
meddle with it.
The further this situation pulls us away from connecting with, actually connecting with an audience in a live sense, it's kind of brought everyone back together. It showed the support. Andrew's off. He is off.
Yeah, we've lost him.
Because it was like Nick did such a great little speech. Just said middle with it.
Just middle with it.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, mate. Cool.
Oh, he's off.
Right, okay. Carry on, everyone.
Yeah, he's kicked him. He's kicked him.
We're all in a different order again now.
Chaos.
Chaos.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
In this podcast.
So, Lal, do you know how saying the wrong vowel in the word can ruin the entire thing?
Right.
Have you ever said the wrong vowel? Have you ever said the wrong vowel in the word?
Yeah, there was.
Have you had someone middle with you?
Oh, you would not believe everyone. Oh my God, I was laughing. was it. It was great. It was anyway. Shit's on my show.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, Lal, have you ever been asked if you have a different voice for radio than your speaking voice?
Yeah, I have, and I'm not.
And do you?
Well, people say that I do. I don't. I think it's like an ingrained. It's weird because I don't think I do. And my missus the other day was like, going, "You sound well different on the radio," and I was like, "Fuck off! I sound absolutely the same." But I don't, because I go, "Hey, guy."
Well, you probably try and sound a little clearer, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think there's any difference. I think you're talking into a microphone. But
I'll never forget going on Kerrang radio with Alex Baker, like back in the day in an old band. We did a live acoustic thing. And we recorded that first, and then he got us in the studio. And Alex is a wicked guy. I'd see him about and stuff. But he was like, yeah, so we'll just do like 10, 15-minute interview. I'll just ask you a few questions, talk about the track. And we were like, yeah, great. And it was like a pre-recorded thing. And he literally hit record and went, ha ha ha, amazing tune there by the guys. Like, and just, it was like a different dude. And we were like looking at each other. Like, what? Yeah, it was incredible. Like,
I hope I'm not that bad, but I'd say there's some ways that you have to kind of, because you have to amp. But I'm not going to say, but there's some people on local radio that you just go partridge, and I've had to not work on certain shows because I'll just sit there going, you just sound like fucking Alan Partridge, and it's just like, obviously local radio is very not our station. Obviously, I'm talking about every other station, but it's you just sometimes you work there and go. One of the questions was, what do you have for breakfast? And I was like, oh, God, what did you have for breakfast? And I swear to God, the telephone system was just like red. Chips. No. Well, he would have chips. I asked you
to That's why Partridge is so funny, because it's true.
Who's the best?
So true, yeah. 2 tablespoons of ambition.
But I think I do have a radio voice.
No, I don't think you do. I was just asking, do you consciously have one?
I think you just have to amp it up. I guess it's a little bit different from BBC introducing, because obviously when you're integrated into a music scene, a lot of the people that we have for introducing, like all of you three, you're mates. So when you're talking to people, you're talking to them on the same level you talk to in the pub. But I can understand that other radio presenters who do sort of more of the mainstream shows, it's a little bit, hey guys, what? Because it's, you have to have that sort of projection. But yeah,
we actually have a question for you on the chat. Why don't the BBC do live streams instead at the minute?
They do. We discussed this just before we come on air. And the BBC have a policy to not do live streams. As I say, it's a little bit different for introducing, because what we've noticed, a few of our offline stations, I think Chris Carlisle in Sheffield, tried to do a live broadcast over Facebook Live, and they were muting the feed, because even though if we send music through introducing on the uploader, it's marked as you've given us permission, but obviously Facebook works a very different way, and they'll just mute it. So we're trying to get around it. We're trying to find a way around, since our shows are off air, to try and do something on our own channel. But it's a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. But I think it's that surely should be the next step, and it's something we're definitely talking about.
Yeah, because we found obviously last week we did have someone planned, but he couldn't make it in the end, and hopefully we'll get him back on at some point. But me and Andy did some music ourselves, and Andy did a couple of covers, and YouTube immediately, like within seconds of the live stream going down, flagged it as copyrighted.
I think it operates as Shazam operates. It's that every waveform of every single song ever has just been monitored. So as soon as you hit those notes, bang, you flag it straight away. Which, as I said, is the same sort of problem we've had. And you'd think that with technology these days, that they'd be a little bit more clever and a bit more, in front of the curve to go like, obviously this is a cover. Obviously, where's the harm in an artist doing a cover? You know what I mean? It's only going to promote original song in the first place, surely.
Yeah, I mean they didn't take it down or anything, but you can't monetize the episode, which obviously is not a big deal for us at all. But yeah, I can imagine, like, if you've got like your own live stream on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you if you want to throw in a cover, it's going to be problematic, isn't it?
What I like to think is my cover was so good, it was like the original. Like when they're on Stars in Their Eyes, and they're like, "How did you know you could sing?" And it's like, "Well, I was singing, and someone said turn the CD off." I think basically my cover was so good last week that YouTube were like, "Is that Adam Sandler singing?" Boop, like just take that down. Like,
what song was it?
What did I do? Yes, I did Oasis, Half the World Away,
Nice.
and I did the song from The Wedding Singer that he sings on the plane to Drew Barrymore.
Ah, right, yeah, with Billy Idol's in that.
Yeah, I did the Billy Idol speech at the start, and I didn't really.
See, this is it. Out of absolute abject misery, we've started to be creative in different ways. This is a great thing. But obviously, the virus is a great thing. That's what I mean.
That's going on the highlight reel.
Is alive. No, but what I mean is, it's sort of breathing that creativity, and sort of like we're all just trying different stuff. Like obviously you covering those, and it's coming back to the point. It's a good thing that people are just going right. Let's just do something crazy. I mean, I have a lot of performer friends who absolutely 100% rely on money coming from festivals. My partner had a European tour. She was headlining Volta. She was doing Glastonbury. She's doing headlining Shindig. Loads of these massive festivals. And then in literally in the space of a week, all cancelled. And now it's just a case of like everyone's trying to find these new, weird, creative things. And it's not just music. I think the performers are just doing some crazy stuff. Most of it I can't show you because it's a bit risque. So at some point I'll send you a link. But it's just great that people are just going, right, let's do something a little bit different.
We can add a link to it in the description so people can click it
That's
afterwards. I'll put NSFW on it so everyone knows.
Cool.
And then social SFW.
Yeah, not safe to work from home. Something like
that. It's just gone 8:30, and we haven't had our second special guest. So let's do that. And as somebody who has been affected in the ways that Lars has been talking about as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Jordan from the Keeper.
Get your clap emojis out.
Clap emojis out in the chat.
Am I on? Hello.
We can hear you. We can't see you.
We can hear you. We can't see you.
You can't.
I can see him.
Hang on a minute.
Can everyone?
You can see me.
No.
Oh, Nick, can you see me at home?
Can't see him on the stream. I'll be honest.
Don't see him. Don't see.
There he is.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll wave upwards, so it looks like I'm on the going like hello.
Oh, wait,
I love your chat, Jordan. Very cool.
Thank you.
What are you drinking?
Right, I'm being a little bit mumsy and drinking gin. I've been on it all week, so I kind of thought after with lockdown, obviously a shitload of beer had been consumed, and then I saw the amount of calories in it. And I thought, not happening. I'm not coming out after lockdown with a beer belly. It's not happening. So I thought, right, I'll go to gin. It's healthy. Actually, it's quite nice gin. Actually, when you get into it,
I'm a big fan of gin.
My life because of gin. Great.
I'm a big fan of gin myself, so it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
That was one of those
favorite gin?
Classic moments where we all spoke at the same time.
Yeah. little reminder, guys, to not talk over each other.
So, Jordan, you've I presume you've had gigs and shows and things cancelled because of what's happening at the moment.
Yes, yeah, quite
some big ones.
Well, all of them. Yeah, some absolute brilliant ones. Like a pub in Windsor, that was really going to make us. So we're really getting out that one.
Yes, mate.
But and a little festival in Pembrokeshire. That was the one that we were bagging on. Pembrokeshire. No, it's of course South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, USA. That got cancelled.
Yeah, I feel for you. I feel for you. Sad face emoji.
Yeah, I mean,
for Jordan for missing out on South by.
One like equals one prayer.
Thoughts and prayers.
That's right. That's right.
Thoughts and prayers for the boy.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a second. How did South by come about for you guys?
It came very quite late for us. I think we got we kind of came into it, I think in November of 2019. So that was really late anyway to kind of get into it. But pretty much how it was, we went over to Paris a couple of times. We played in Paris twice now, and it was pretty much we got talking, and which woman works for the management side at Sunny DMG, and they normally run a stage over there. So we were like, great, okay. That first time, second time she was there, she's like, I can get you into South by Southwest. We're like, absolutely brilliant. Cool. We're like, yep, put in. And then we got like a code, so we didn't have to pay the $50 application fee. And then pretty much within we got the email at 6 a.m. saying, congratulations, you're going to go to South by Southwest. It's just kind of like you wake up at 6, like, ooh, you know. So that it came about that way, just for you being in France, really. So that was pretty much just how we did it. So, you know, we got all geared up. We spent a lot of money because, for those who don't know, South by Southwest, you have to fund everything yourself. I believe it was funded by McDonald's, the largest franchise in the world. And it's kind of like, we can't help with anything. It's like, it's just like being at home, really, isn't it? You know, no money, but free beer. You know, we were like, God love America. So we had to go through well, you know, there's so much to research as well, because we've got like immigration laws and sort of stuff like that. It was, you know, we need a visa, but then you heard, well, actually, you don't need a visa, you can do it on an ESTA. So then you're kind of going, right. But even if you do it on the ESTA, which is only like a couple of quid, it's like you can still be denied entry into the US. But also, if you pay 200 quid for a visa and then have to go to the embassy, then you could still be denied entry. So we were like, right, well, let's just send the 6 quid then, or £630, how much it was. So yeah, we got flights, but quite luckily, because this is the only good thing that Donald Trump has ever done, is when he announced travel ban, we got all our money back like that. So we were like,
oh, that's good.
So we didn't. So we could have been £3,000 out of pocket, and there was a little bit of time. There was a little bit of kind of a panic between the four of us, kind of going, how much money have we lost? So, but no, we got it all back, and it looks like, I'm not sure if I can say this, but it looks like we're going back over next year. But we're going to try and do it a bit bigger, maybe a bit kind of better, and try and do like a gig. I think we had to fly to New York, then we had to fly to somewhere else. Really weird flights. We had to put the cheap ones there was. So we're like, right, well, if we've got to fly, then we might as well try and do a few gigs there. But then that means, so we'll have to do it as a visa, but we'll need this certain times of visa. So lots of kind of research at the minute into that.
A lot of red tape to go through.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, it's a really difficult organization thing to do anyway. Even if you were just going to Austin for, you know, the 3 or 4 days or whatever, if you're pairing another show, it's difficult.
Yeah, I mean, like the logistics as well of like with instruments as well. So we were kind of like, right, well, so this is our luggage allowance. Oh, so then it was like, right, well, do we fly a guitar or do we rent a guitar? And then it's kind of like, then with like the stage as well, because, you know, we didn't kind of have the backline spec. You know, normally as we do before any sort of gig, you know, the promoter, they'll always say, right, this is here, this is, you need this, and that. We didn't have any of that. So we were like, okay. So we're like, right, well, if we just rent everything, we'll be fine. But luckily, I left it right to the last minute because, you know, with guitarists, we're a bit like kind of like magpies, like, ooh, shiny. Ooh, you know, we're very easily distracted. So trying to work out what guitars that we wanted took really a long time, more longer than what it should have been. So I didn't rent anything. So that was quite good. Just so I was like, right, I'll book it all on Monday before we kind of got there. But luckily, didn't lose any money there. So
yeah,
just get a Line 6 Variax, you'd have been fine.
Hey, that's a good point.
Line 6 Spider.
Yeah. Nick, didn't Owen, your guitarist in New Cassettes, leave his guitar when you're on American tour? He left his guitar in the last gig he played, and it's like 600 miles the wrong way or something stupid like that.
Well, yes and no. It wasn't 600 miles away. Luckily, we were playing 2 shows back to back, one in Chicago and one in a small university town in Illinois. So they're only 2 hours apart. But he did leave his guitar, and we didn't realize until we went to sound check at the next venue. So he had to use a spare for the whole gig, and then announced on stage that he'd forgotten his guitar and left it in DeKalb, Illinois. If anyone's heard of DeKalb, Illinois, shout out to those guys. It was like it got the biggest laugh of the night, obviously. But it was only like I say it was only 100 miles, but it was 100 miles.
Yeah, in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
At least in that time.
But the scheduling of the show was that we ended up going towards that way anyway. But yeah, it's a stupid thing to do, but very, very funny.
There you go. Gets a laugh.
Yeah.
If you Jordan, if you do want any American South by South advice, Nick played South by Southwest 20 years ago. So
25.
if you want any advice,
I would have been one.
give him a shout.
I was one.
Nick has been suckling on the cow's teat of the music industry for many a year. So
Andy may have fudged the numbers slightly there.
just a tiny bit.
It was a little while ago, but it wasn't 20 years ago.
If you think it was 20 years ago, people in the chat, can you just put a yes or a no?
How long ago do you think it was?
How long ago do you think Nick played South by Southwest? No Googling.
And you
I
could
can boot you from this fucking thing again, Andy, and I will do it.
Mate, I'm the people's champ. If people don't want me booted, comment in the chats now.
You're nothing but a bully. Just because I said middle rather than medal.
Oh, don't sign off again. Right, come on.
Right.
Go stand
Right.
outside.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Bring some decorum to this, please, Josh.
While you try and soothe your hurt feelings, and while people try and guess how many decades ago it was that Nick played South by Southwest, let's have a little song, if that's all right with you, Jordan.
Woo!
Yeah.
Awesome.
I've got my guitar here.
Oh, just so happened to have it there.
Just so happens, this sort of thing.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave it to you, Jordan.
Okay, great.
Cool. Take us away.
So, this is the Keeper's newest single. It's called Champagne Candy. It goes a bit like this. I don't want to be a corporate slave, working every day for the minimum wage. I don't want to be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cake. Oh, I see you all over the town. Sun's coming up as you're coming down. Steady as you go. Don't forget to blow your nose. Oh, I see you around Canary Wharf and you're dining at the Shad on the top floor. Steady as you go and don't forget to blow your nose. I don't want to be a corporate slave, working every day for the minimum wage. I don't want to be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cocaine. I don't want to be a corporate slave, working every day for the minimum wage. I don't want to be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cocaine. With your champagne and your cocaine, with your champagne and your cocaine. I see you around Canary Wharf, dining at the Shad on the top floor. Steady as you go, don't forget to blow your nose. I see you all over the town. Sun's coming up as you're coming down. Steady as you go, don't forget to blow your nose. I don't want to be a corporate slave, working every day for the minimum wage. I don't wanna be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cocaine. I don't wanna be a corporate slave working every day for the minimum wage. I don't wanna be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cocaine. With your champagne and your cocaine. With your champagne and your cocaine. I said champagne, cocaine, champagne, cocaine, champagne, cocaine, champagne, cocaine, champagne, cocaine, champagne, cocaine. I don't wanna be a corporate slave, working every day for the minimum wage. I don't wanna be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cocaine. I don't wanna be a corporate slave, working every day for the minimum wage. I don't wanna be a corporate slave while you're living off a diet of champagne and cocaine. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Claps in the chat for everyone. Come on.
Nice one, Jordan. That was great.
Beautiful
Amazing.
stuff. Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful
you.
stuff.
Thank
It was like a Champagne Supernova-esque version of the Keeper's track.
Yeah, I mean, it was never, and I didn't even know it sounded like that until a couple of months ago, because normally there's this sort of concept of writing songs. We all do it on acoustic guitars and all that. Well, it's not always the case. But pretty much that one, our drummer, we were supporting an old Britpop band called My Life Story in Milton Keynes.
Hey,
And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. I didn't, that was a bit before my time. But it
It was when Nick played South by Southwest.
yeah, it was then.
I was actually waiting
was
for you
then.
to say that.
And it's, yeah, it was the only time our drummer Steve has ever pulled out of a gig. He was ill. This is back in February, so he could have had coronavirus, really. So we don't know. He did say he had a bit of bat soup. He had bat soup that week, so I think it's something to do with that. So I was pretty much, and this was like 2 hours before the gig, and I kind of thought, shit, you know, we can't kind of pull out. So I was like, right, okay, Jordan will do it acoustic. I was like, fucking will I? Will I? Okay, so I had no choice but to go and do it acoustically. And I just frantically go, right, what? Did changing keys and all that, and it came up with that. Yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned Champagne Supernova. To me, it sounds more like fucking Billy Ray Cyrus. So that kind of country, sort of.
Both excellent things to reference, though.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard
That's
the
it.
original. I've heard the like the studio version. It doesn't sound like Champagne Supernova. I just thought the acoustic version did.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a
Yeah.
good version.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us a bit about the Keepers, Jordan, for anyone watching who might not be aware of you guys or what your sound is or anything like that.
Okay, right. Oh god, you have to go in with the sound question, but there's this sort of conception that we're this a way to see sort of indie band. Well, we're not like that at all. We might have been a couple of years ago, but you know, we've really started to move away from that. We're pretty much anything and everything. We don't have kind of like one set style anymore. I mean, we're influenced by likes of like the Beatles and like the fucking Human League as well. So it's just weird. It's really weird music, but you've still got this kind of sense of pop music, but you know, poppy melodies, and it's just, you know, batshit crazy gigs, really. I mean, you know, somewhere across between Bowie and Suede. I think that's probably the best way that I describe ourselves. I'm not comparing myself to David Bowie, but you know, if you want that sort of art rock.
I actually saw Jordan. I saw the Keepers just before you were meant to go to South by Southwest that Nick played a few times 20 years ago. But I remember, because I hadn't seen you guys play for quite a few years, and it was so, well, one, it was tight. It was one of the tightest bands I've seen in a while. But you as a frontman have just come on so much, man. It just looks pro. Do you know what I mean? And the new songs are just They're amazing. There's a little bit psychedelic in there because remember when you
Yeah.
first got our show? I mean, it was quite a few years ago, but I think you were just. It was before you were doing the Crypt Keepers. I think it was your own band.
Yeah.
Now it's just it's great, man. It's really good. Really good.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it was. It's kind of for those who've kind of been following us for a few years or not. I was kind of just standing there with the kind of guitar, but the other three guys, Steve, Jack, and Charlie, they kind of, particularly Steve, the drummer, he said, "Right, drop your guitar, so just go and be a front man." All right, we'll hold this. You go and go and do your Kate Bush or your whatever. They just So I couldn't be me without those guys, which is really fun, nice thing, and it's quite nice. There's no ego between anyone. They're like, yeah, we'll hold the fort musically. Just go and do that. So yeah, it's just kind of the change of musicians has definitely helped, and that probably sounds quite bitchy, but
Is it a new band? Your band different than it was?
All right, now it's not your show.
Yeah.
Sorry. You are listening to North Lal Muttock.
Yeah, social.
I think the ego has got to the better of Josh.
Right?
Right, get out. I've had enough.
Look at that.
It's all right. We're going to get other podcasts are available in a minute. It's going to go full on BBC in a minute. It's going to be.
We're not we're not on the BBC gravy train here.
A bit of decorum, please, gentlemen. A bit of decorum.
Sorry, I don't know what came over me.
So, Lal, if you could just text us the questions first, and then we'll answer them and take all the glory.
They'll be
please.
pre-approved.
And you will be on the BBC gravy train.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, I mean,
No.
you're off duty now. You're off duty.
Just enjoy yourself.
Well, funny you should say that. I just found something on Just Eat, and they deliver beer. And when you Just Eat, it has to confirm the order. It confirmed it, and they're sending it, and it'll be in 5 minutes, and that was 6 minutes ago.
Ooh.
So hopefully we'll get a beer in 20
Did somebody say just beer?
No dicking about.
Have we still got Jordan, or is he frozen?
Oh, he has
Jordan,
frozen a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, we can still hear him, but I can't see him. I can't see him. I can just see one
heard,
frozen
not
thing.
seen in my case.
He's staying perfectly still.
Okay.
He's nearly
Jordan-
invisible.
Yeah, so Jordan, stay where you are, and hopefully the internet connection sorts.
Hey,
Oh, there he is.
right.
There he is. There he is.
There we go. There we go.
We're back.
Cool.
We're fast approaching 9 o'clock. Is there any chance we can get another song, Jordan?
Yeah, but I'd have to charge. That's fine. That's fine.
Have you not heard us begging for beer? We can't afford it.
It's all right. Lau will pay you.
Yeah. Some of that BBC
okay.
money.
That's your mum's money coming through.
Okay, ready, Jordan?
Yeah.
Cool. The stage is yours.
Lovely. Okay, this is going to be the next, maybe the next, could be the one after. Keep us track. This is called Dresden. She said, turn the radio on. She said, turn the radio up and just listen, 'cause I've had enough. You're stupid, repetitive laugh. So I said, do you really understand the consequences of the actions you have taken just to keep from making the consequences of the actions you have taken just to keep from waking your mind's broken. Dresden and Gomorrah will not have you in before they check your failure to obscure your present state of mind where I'm concerned. She said, don't go turning me on. She said, 'cause it's been far too long. Just listen, 'cause this is the end. And please listen, 'cause this is the end. So I say, do you really understand the consequences of the actions you have taken? Just to keep from waking, the consequences of the actions you have taken. Just to keep from waking, your mind's breaking. Just an end tomorrow would not have you in before they check your failure to obscure your present state of mind where I'm concerned, yeah. So I said, do you really understand the consequences of the actions you have taken? Just to keep awake, the consequences of the actions you have taken. Just to keep from waking, your mind's broken.
Yeah, boy.
That's a banger. It's a banger.
Nice one, man.
Is that a
Let's
new
get some
song?
claps in the chat.
That's great.
Yes, it's newish. We've been playing it since about August last year, but we went into a studio in Manchester, which is owned by Steve Coogan's brother, speaking of Alan Partridge. And he does all the Radio Norwich sort of jingles and all that sort of stuff.
Ah,
We were working with
Nice.
a producer. No, yes. And it was Alan Partridge's, well, sorry, Steve Coogan's brother was the singer in the Mock Turtles. Yeah,
no,
that
it
song in the
wasn't.
90s.
Really? He's actually
It
done that?
was.
How did I not know that? That's amazing. I used to love the mocktails. That's crazy.
Yeah, so the studio was in Cheetham Hill in Manchester, and we got this really cool opportunity to go out there and was to record 3 singles over 2 days, which was really, really good. And there was lots of nice equipment to be kind of playing about with. We recorded 3 tracks, but the producer was great. I mean, anyone who produces music, there's so much you need to do, as well as like setting up the mics and getting the musicians motivated. And he did that, and it was brilliant working with him. But his mixes, I think he did about 10 mixes, and I think we then drove him up the wall, and he just kind of said, "Fuck off, leave me alone." And he's been in a mental asylum ever since, believe it or not. So we kind of took the tracks, and we were like, okay, like, you know, we can do this ourselves. So that's what we're currently doing, mixing that song Dresden, and 2 others as well, which are everything's been pushed back because of fucking bat soup. So everything's been pushed back, but that will be, there's 3 new tracks, or 6 new tracks if you include the B-side. That will be coming out this year.
Great.
Cool.
Excellent.
Go on, Josh.
Sorry, Lau, did you just say you're releasing that as an EP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, we're not going to be releasing an EP just because, when it comes to like releasing music, there's so many different formats, and it's all kind of online now, and we can't do a bit CD. But no, we won't be doing that. It's going to be 3 individual singles, just because I think with the amount of money that you spend recording, giving them all away at once on one track, we're like, well, we can kind of spread them out, and then we've got an actual kind of promo planning for each one. And it's kind of been a little bit not clever, but I mean, EPs. I'm not a big EP fan of things really like that. So no, it's just gonna be singles.
That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I'm glad to see Lau's got his beer delivery. And you mentioned Steve Coogan's brother, who's in the Mocktails. And that's a good opportunity to ask one of the recurring questions, which is, this is to both of you chaps, Jordan and Lau. Who's the most famous person you've seen while in Northampton?
In Northampton.
Yeah, so they don't have to be from Northampton, but they have to have been in Northampton when you've seen them.
So I'll give you an example. I've got an update for you. So last week I talked about how my sister and my cousin chased Dean Gaffney around the Grosvenor Centre, saying, "Where's Wellard, Robbie?" for about an hour. They weren't fans.
So the bar is low.
Yeah, and so my then sister then has updated me since then and said that her and the same cousin saw Sid Owen, as in Ricky from EastEnders. They all collect in Northampton in Visage, and he asked my cousin for a cigarette and had a dance with him and stuff. So yeah, so that's the example. So you guys have got something like that, basically.
Should I go first? Jordan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, Lau first. Lau first.
No,
Go on.
yeah, Lau first. You know.
Well, we brought Wu-Tang, Bronze Nazareth from Wu-Tang over, didn't we? And I know that's a bit of a weird one, as in fame, but I guess that's the coolest one. I mean, that was a feat. Imagine having Bronze Nazareth, the DJ for Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yes.
But Lau, really, what we're looking for in terms of the last few being the butler from the Fresh Prince.
Oh yeah, there was him. Oh, I forgot about it. Right, this is the thing, right? I could be an arrogant prick most of the times, but he actually turned me into, like, when he walked in, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a photo. I'm going to get him to, like, do some idents for my show. And he actually come in, and I literally was just looking at him in the mirror, in the reflection in the mirror, just going, like, I just kind of froze. I couldn't speak to him. He was cool, but he was proper chilled, and, like, you know, he looks exactly the same. He walks exactly the same. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to film him. I'm going to do all this sort of stuff. No, didn't do anything. I was just like, all in my head, I was just thinking, that's Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince, that's Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince, and that was it. And then he left. But yeah, it was probably him then. Oh, that's a good one.
I'd just like to if I can just interrupt there, Lau. There is an unofficial NN social drinking game, and every time someone says Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince, you have to down your drink, and it's just been said about 8 times.
Yeah. That's why I did this.
Yeah, you got to rack them up, people, if you're playing.
Well,
so
I thought we were gonna announce that properly next week, but I guess.
Oh shit!
I said it.
So
I think for me, the most famous person that I've seen in Northampton, it's either, I think they're equally famous. It was either Ed Miliband or Jeremy Corbyn. Those are the two most famous.
Only politicians.
I once saw Tony Blair.
Only politicians.
So yeah.
Well, I think it's what I've learned. Every Labour MP that I've met and shook hands, every Labour leader, they've lost the election. So anyone who's Labour inclined,
yes. Stop shaking
me
hands
away.
with them, Jordan.
so if Sir Keir, that's another thing I'll talk about in a minute. But that's Sir Keir Starmer. But you know, if you want Labour in,
we're not going.
Don't
politics.
let me up.
We're not going politics.
No. It sounds like a family hatchback. You know, Sir Keir Starmer, the new family hatchback.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
It does. Yeah, that was a good one.
Also in the chat, anyone that's listening along, tell us who the most famous person you've seen in Northampton is, and we're talking really C-list at best, aren't we?
Yeah, really. Yeah. The shitter the better.
Yeah, that's what we want, really.
Didn't we have Wolverine? What's
say Wolverine?
Yeah, he plays Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman.
He was in Northampton.
When on earth was he in Northampton?
Probably when he was doing his show.
No, he was doing.
No, probably he's going to go to BHS, hadn't he? Fucking hell, of course he's doing his show.
Shut down. Sorry. Shut down, mate. Went to administration. Used to work for him. So yeah.
They used to.
Jamelia. Yeah.
Jamelia.
Oh god. I do remember my again. It's always my sisters because they're way older. They one of them went to. Was Lau? Was there a nightclub called Scream? Am I imagining that?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
They went to that, and there was a Peter Andre appearance.
I was too young for that. He
wasn't booked. He was just working beyond the bar.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Someone's actually Tim Astrop is saying, wasn't Johnny Depp knocking about in the late 90s
Oh,
with
yeah.
Alan Moore?
That's right.
believable.
There's two versions of this story. The first one was it was when he was doing From Hell, so he wanted to sort of get inside Alan Moore's head. And one of the stories was that they went to the White Elephant for a drink, and the other story, and Alan won't confirm either of these apparently. The other one was he said, "Oh, I'm coming to see you," and Alan Moore being Alan Moore was just like, "Yeah, right, whatever." And he was Alan Moore come back from shopping, and Johnny Depp sitting on his step, just waiting for him to come back. Imagine walking down the street and going, "That's Johnny Depp."
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, there was because of when he did Dodge and Logic. I don't know if you guys remember. You remember that magazine from a little while ago, Dodge and Logic?
Yeah.
Put together. He had Damien Albarn and Damien Hirst. They come up because they were going to they were going to edit or be an editor or whatever it's called. One of those magazines. But yeah, they came up and went to Buddies and food with Buddies.
I had dinner in Pizza Express. I think it was with most of my family, and my dad was like, "Who's that loud man in the corner?" And it was Alan Moore, but it wasn't being loud. It's just his voice is so imposing and booming. And he was having dinner with like the most random person. It was Roland, Roland Rivron.
Of course,
it was so
that's the kind of C-list celebrity that we want.
That's Alan Moore. Obviously, everyone loves Alan Moore. That goes without saying. But Roland Rivron, now you're talking.
How weird is that?
Roland Rivron is top level. That's like
cool.
there. That's there with Jeffrey from The Fresh Prince.
He was.
Yeah.
It was Roland Rivron in a band in like the 80s or something called Pure Sex.
He was. Oh yes, right. No, it was. It was. It was. There was a TV show they were in. It might have been not the 9 o'clock news. They were in that. Yeah, definitely relevant.
I remember he'd always end up in Hootenanny. He'd always be pissed and end up on the drums like all the time in like Jules Holland's like blues band, and he'd spit back like razzing away.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Roland Rivron. F's in the chat for Roland Rivron.
F's in the chat.
F's in the chat. Okay, cool.
We do have one thing I need to say before we do the recommendations. Aaron, regular listener, excellent friend. It was his 30th birthday. So happy birthday to Aaron out there. Can we get some birthday cake emojis in the chat?
HB.
For he's a jolly good fellow.
For he is a jolly good fellow.
Yeah.
I think he had some beer garage delivery as well for his birthday.
He did, yeah. He put that in the chat. Yeah, he did. He did that.
Cheers to Aaron, everyone.
Aaron, the man. For anyone as well watching, we have a small request. Could you please tag us or take a photo of how you're watching the show? Tag us on Instagram or wherever, just so we can see how people are watching us. If you're watching us on TV or if you're on your laptop or on your phone or whatever. If you're naked, if you're clothed, if you are drinking, if you're not drinking, just take a picture, tag us in it so we can have a look.
But if you can get your phones out now so we can all vogue, like Jordan was saying, like this.
Yeah.
So now is your opportunity to take the picture. We'll hold it for 5.
Strike a pose.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right. Recommendations, Josh?
Yeah, okay. This week I have watched... this isn't a great recommendation. There's that documentary series that started on ITV about the Charles and Diana, the quiz people that allegedly cheated their way to $1 million. Did you recommend that last week?
You said documentary, but it's not a documentary. It's a drama.
No, sorry, it's a docudrama. No, it's not even a docudrama, is it? It's a dramatisation of real events.
Yeah.
But I went to put it on last night, watched an episode. We got to the end, and Olga was like, "Is that the end of it? I thought there was more than one episode." And I was like, "Yes, so did I." And I looked, and we watched episode 3. So we watched the last episode first, and then we went back and watched episode 1, and I can't wait to see what happens in episode 2.
But you don't need to see episode 3. You're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen here.
It's very middly, as Nick would say.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Fucking hell, you found a gag and you've run with it.
Got it.
Okay. Andy, what have you been watching?
I've only got one this week, which is you don't even have to be a basketball fan. I'm not a massive basketball fan, but the Michael Jordan documentary that's just started on Netflix. It's 2 episodes a week. It's ESPN Films and Netflix co-pro, and the first 2 episodes are on. And even if you're not a basketball fan, it's a really interesting story. My best friend Tom is a massive Toronto Raptors fan and very into the NBA, so he did a Netflix party on Monday and we all watched it together, a bunch of us, and it was very gripping. So the Michael Jordan doc on Netflix is my recommendation for this.
It looks fucking amazing.
Very good. Yeah.
Nick?
Me? Fuck. I'm really lame. Sorry. I think I've said it every single week, and I am still ploughing through It's Always Sunny.
Excellent, excellent.
I watched the one where he had guns, where they bought a gun. Oh my god!
That show is like one of the few, in my opinion, not that anyone asked for it, one of the few comedy series that has gone on, that has lots of series, and it maintains the feel, despite the fact that they're now all like rich and successful. It's exactly the same sort of style and just as funny in its season 9 as it was in 1.
Yeah,
I think it. Sorry, Lau, go on.
Sorry, is it true that it's mostly ad libs? They kind of have a bullet point script, but a lot of it is just they just go right. This is the scene.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. You can see a lot of times, there's loads of compilations on YouTube of them cracking, but every now and then you can see the actors kind of cracking up and losing. Danny DeVito especially, he's one you can see he kind of can't hold it, and there might be a cut and he's like smirking, and then it cut back and he's like serious because he's just on the verge of going. Yeah.
I did actually watch the first episode of Rob McElhenney's new show that's on Apple TV. Yeah, that's what I said I was going to watch last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
I've only watched the first episode, but it was really good. I don't know how many episodes there are, but yeah, I'd recommend that so far.
Excellent.
Lau?
What have I been watching? I need to find out what it's called. Hang on a minute, 2 seconds.
Jordan, then.
Okay, what have I been watching? Great program on the minute. It's about 5 o'clock on BBC. It's called Coronavirus Daily Update. I've been watching that. No, of course not. What I watched a good film, a documentary on Netflix. It's called The 24-Hour War, and it was the 1966 Le Mans Grand Prix, the massive sort of rivalry between Ford and Ferrari. Now, even if not necessarily petrol led, it's a good watch. Just learning about the history and how Ford annihilated Ferrari. That's quite good. So it's a bit of history for you. So
have you watched the Christian Bale Le Mans Ferrari versus Ford film with Matt Damon?
Yes.
I recommend that. I knew nothing about it. Is
it good? Yeah.
Really good. Really good. Yeah.
It's how they made the car, and it was dreadful. And there was a guy who was one of the drivers. They were like going, just ask him, or he was like, I can tell you how to do it. And it was every time the car was worse and worse and worse. And they actually, Christian Bale's character, so it was like, I'll let him build the car. It was just mental.
Yeah. Really
I thought that was a great idea, but I don't think it's ever going to be as good as Days of Thunder for realism. That's like, they obviously spent a lot of years infiltrating mechanics and all the teams, and a lot of effort went into making that as real as possible. And I think it was almost as real as the amazing US Air Force documentary Top Gear.
Oh yeah.
Done it again.
Top Gun.
You've done it again.
Top Gear.
But that's funny. That's why you're laughing, Andy. Come on, man. There's a gag in there that you've not noticed. Fuck. I'm going to stop doing this.
Good cover. Your brain is broken.
Sorry, Lau, you didn't say your recommendation.
Right, so there was a couple, but there was one called Me So Hungry, and it's about this this guy in New Zealand who ate only junk foods, and they sent him to Japan. He was a really big guy, and they sent him to Japan to eat Japanese version of to basically adopt a Japanese diet for a week, and then come back and spend 10 weeks of only eating that food. And it sounds really boring, But it is amazing. This guy is absolutely fucking hilarious, and it's just about his journey losing weight. And as he loses weight, as I said, he's a really big guy. His trousers will be falling down. I mean, everywhere. Like he'll just have to he'll be walking down the street and they're gone. You know what I mean? It's really good. But the other one that I want to talk about is the world's greatest gambling scams, and it's on Prime, and it's literally it is what it says, and it's just about people trying to just come up with elaborate ways of being casinos. I love that sort of shit. I love those sort of documentaries of people trying to outdo like Ocean's 11 sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So they are my recommendations.
Nice, mate. Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that's about the end of the show there, folks. That's an hour and a quarter. Thanks very much for playing a couple of tunes for us, Jordan. That was that was really cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for
man.
coming on, Lal. Appreciate your time, man. And yeah, I hope you're doing well.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's been fun.
Cool. I'll
Sweet.
never make
Okay.
a gag ever again. Thanks very much. See you.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Don't forget to tag the NN Social, but we'll see you next Wednesday at 8.
Same
Bye.
time.
Bye, guys. See ya.
You have to
Bye.
wave now.
See ya.
Keep waving. Keep waving. Just keep waving. Just keep waving.
I'm gonna leave.